This is about a very inspiring success story, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome on stage somebody who's very, very special, the one and only Janak Daftari, convener for Jal Biradri Maharashtra and Meethi Nadi Sansad, who left his IT business way back in the year 2003 to work as an evangelist for river rejuvenation, rainwater harvesting, and waste management. Janak Daftari is working on issues of Meethi, Dev Nadi, Mulamatha, and other rivers of Maharashtra in the High Court, NGT, and Supreme Court, and also runs an awareness campaign, Jal Jagruti, for students, professionals, and other citizens as well. He also provides technical inputs for implementing water conservation projects and organic sewage treatment plans based on biotechnology developed at IIT Bombay. Ladies and gentlemen, please clap loudly and acknowledge the presence of Janak Daftari over here as I call him up on stage. Give a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Janak Daftari. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us over here. And to carry forward this conversation, this very interesting and inspiring real talk, we have respected environmentalist who is also the editor of Realty Plus. Everybody knows her. Everybody knows what she brings to the table. Sapna Srivastava, editor of Realty Plus. Ke liye bhi zor se taali, please, ladies and gentlemen. While a lot of you know, a lot of you might not know, she's also an architect by qualification. And after her active architectural practice of more than a decade, she's forayed into the field of journalism in the year 2006. She's a member of the Council of Architecture and the Indian Institute of Architects. And as editor of Realty Plus, she literally eats, drinks, and breathes real estate. If there's more to it, then of course you can add that for Sapna. Give it up for Sapna, ladies and gentlemen, all of you over here. Can I please expect you all to clap and appreciate Sapna? She's really put in a lot of hard work to put this event going forward today. So the least that we can do is appreciate her presence as well. Thank you so much, Sapna, and over to you.
So, thanks, Shubhajit, for those very nice words for me and for Mr. Daftari. But I believe words are less when we are talking about Mr. Daftari. क्योंकि आप जो कर रहे हैं वो selflessly कर रहे हैं. You do not have any commercial agenda with what you are doing. Being an environmentalist, being a water activist, working for the rivers, creating awareness. In 2003, you had a well-established IT business which you left to become an environmentalist. What brought that change? Yeah.
Namaskar. See, firstly, I want to say that I'm not doing this selflessly. I have my selfish interest. इतना पाप किया है तो डर है ऊपर जाएंगे वो बोलेगा बम्बई में फेंको वापस. So this is part of the sadhana, the ambition that all human beings should have. Second thing, I would like to disagree with Sapna. I'm not an environmentalist. An environmentalist is the one who goes in an air-conditioned car to an air-conditioned hall like this and goes home back to his air-conditioned residence. I am actually an environment worker. I think that would be more appropriate. To answer the question that she has raised, what made me get into this, I think there is what my kids call Kedia. To put it exactly, there is something which drives all of us. For some it is money, for some it is fame. For me it's a combination of all this and a little spiritual component in all this. When I read this along with Article 51 of the Constitution. See, everybody is familiar with right to freedom, right to live, right to employment. That's 16, 17, 19, 21. You flip some more pages, come to Article 51, I think somewhere after F, G, H. Each and every citizen of the country is bounded by duty to preserve his environment, to preserve his ecological assets. And then I had the fortune of running into one Dr. Rajendra Singh, I don't know if people are aware of him. He is the Jal Purush of India. And around 2016 or so, he won apart from all the other honors, he also won the Nobel for Water, the Stockholm Laureate. And he is the guy who primarily pushed me into water. So I think that should answer your question.
Okay. No, we've been fortunate with Dr. Rajendra Singh has been on this platform, has been part of our events twice. And, he expressed the same thing, what you just said, that we have this responsibility to our children, to our people, to save our natural assets. हम पानी सबसे बड़ी चीज़ है and he has revived I know how many 80 rivers or something in Rajasthan he has revived so many rivers. In fact, he showed us a case study how it changed the entire life of people
in the village.
In the village once the river was there.
Arwari.
So coming from that, what he also said and you also have said in a lot of your writings about paramparik or traditional methods, so हम आज पूरा दिन जो हम we have been talking about sustainability, we have been talking about technology, we have been talking about design. Where does paramparik or the traditional methods fit in today's world?
I think it will be easy to answer that if you look at the two or the multi-layer, breakup. One is that we talk in terms of innovation and sustainability in the perspective of, like the earlier panelist said, Raigad, Red Fort, and I'm not talking about the bridges which fell down in Bihar. I'm talking about any cement concrete structure goes for 50, 60 years. Now, if you stop to think about it, the hillock which has stood the test of time over hundreds of years, with our technology, mankind, not kind, but I would say, for lack of any other term, we break the hillock into small chip stones. We make cement out of it, which is good for 60 years, 80 years. जो सैकड़ों सालों से जो मौजूद था, उसका 60 साल में हमने लाइफ साइकिल खत्म कर दिया है. So sustainability, and I'll come to innovation next, but sustainability to my mind, as I see, we need to very sincerely and seriously look behind. ये जो पारंपरिक आप बोल रहे हैं, to give you a very telling analogy, सोनार की 100 और लोहार का 1. If you keep the basic principle which I mean in India, this thought philosophy has evolved. Okay, it's not something that has come from the West, 200, 300, 500 years old. No. This philosophy has evolved over thousands of years. We respect what we call the Panch Mahabhut. I'm sure we all know what the Mahabhuts are. It's a lot like Casper the Friendly Ghost, but 5 of them. If we are able to give the due respect, if we are able to work for the betterment of these Panch Mahabhut, basically water, air, soil, etc., it's going to become sustainable. That's how simple it is. At the grassroots, what we need to do is to ensure that we implement whatever respect at the intellectual plane that we generate, that we give due to these Panch Mahabhut. At the grassroots, one has to implement this. And I was quite taken up by the earlier panel discussion, and it struck me that one of the things which really turns me on, you won't believe, is when I talk to children in the schools. I've been to quite a few of them, schools, colleges. It's like planting a tree, a seed where the tree will grow. Some wise man said, yeah, the guy who planted the tree is not going to be around to enjoy the shade. But it's the concept. You start what the gentleman, that panelist said, embed. You embed these values into this growing tree, into this seed which is going to be the future citizen of the country. And this really turns me on. Now, in terms of innovation, I don't think it's such a big deal. Because if you work with those basic principles of respecting and working with the Panch Mahbut, in this country, we have had examples of tremendous engineering and architecture. I've already mentioned two of them. There must be hundreds of them. In terms of water conservation, I've seen, and we all are aware, there are places in Rajasthan where, one of the questions you asked, what made me get into this, sometime in 2003, March, I had gone to Rajasthan. I had taken a study team from IIT, 6 of us. I was the backbencher and the leader of the team. In the month of March, I saw the third crop. And Rajasthan enjoys 12 to 15 centimeters of rain. You're aware how much rainfall we get in Bombay? 2.2 meters. And this particular district, because of the effort of Rajendra Singh and his associates, were growing a third crop. Konkan has 6 meters of rain, and they don't go beyond one and a half crops a year. So that is innovation. So coming back to the point I want to make is, the primary tool, or at the primary level, we need to respect the Panch Mahbut, and that is an age-old concept. At the grassroots, we need to embed. We need to embed this value, this awareness in the next generation.
That's right. Lots to learn from our age-old wisdom. As you said, there is a lot to learn from that. So let's look back, catch them young. Let's start from our young children. Let's start, adding that sustainability value in them when they are young. And thirdly, innovation starts from grassroots. If it can change, uplift the people at the grassroots, that is the true innovation, what you said. Again, there is also a paradox, like a lot of people say, and we discussed in the morning also. India is a young country, it is a growing country, it's a developing country. We need infrastructure, we need housing, we are, massive shortage of housing. So we need to build. And construction, the moment we dug a hole in the ground, we are going against environment. How do we balance environment? How do we balance our needs of infrastructure?
That's a banana peel of a question. See, it's like this. I was explaining to the auto rickshaw guy when I came. Take specifically the city of Bombay, Mumbai. 450 square kilometers, surrounded on 3 sides by sea. Now, we are trying to build, okay, buildings, infrastructure, then you get flyover, fly under, you get all these metros and regals and what have you. is tantamount to putting or trying to put 3 liters of water into a 1 liter bottle. नहीं होता ये, कहीं ना कहीं धुआं निकलना ही है. Then it is evident in the quality of life. I have been traveling in the north extensively, hanging on to Rajendra Singh's coattails, learning about the water conservation and all that. And I used to tell people, Bombay वाले सवेरे एक चाटा मारो तो बोलेगा जल्दी दूसरे गाल में चाटा मार, मेरी 8:32 की बोरीवली जाएगी. You see the quality of life. You may not be aware, but some of these environmentalists have worked out a notional figure where each human being needs about X square meters in terms of his traffic requirement, his residence, his workplace, water, trees, etc. In Bombay, this poor chap is operating at 25% of X. So this is what happens. You can't beat nature. Think back to 2005. Even more recently, I can tell you, you may be aware about all these landslides and panic chaos that is going on in Uttarakhand. In 2010, I think, or 11, the CAG, that is Comptroller and Auditor General, Mr. Vinay Rai, he called Rajendra Singh to do an audit of the rivers. He said, अभी तक नदियों का audit किया नहीं है. तो Rajendra Singh took off. Obviously, I was right behind him. And I've written in that report to the CAG, saying these are not power plants which are run off the river. They are running off with the river. This is 10, 15 years ago. Today there is a big time, it's not an expressway, but it's some big corridor from one place to another place. Our Honorable Prime Minister has declared all these, what do you call them, bhakts, for lack of any better word. These bhakts have the facility to go to Kedarnath, Badrinath, Gangotri, here, there. In the process, they've destroyed the ecology over there. And I would like to make my point of difference. India is not a young country. India is one of the older civilizations. And what has happened is, in the process of building this path, the government has overruled technical experts who said, don't widen this road. Don't cut the trees on the hillside. That guy, the chairman, he was overruled. He resigned. Out of the 5 Supreme Court appointed experts, 2 of those differed with the committee, the opinion of the committee, and they resigned. And that's how that entire project has been put into place. Now, this is called Jugaad. In India, we are very good at Jugaad and software. The project needs clearance if it is more than 5 kilometers or 500 meters, I forget. The entire length of that highway is something like 150 kilometers. So very smartly, they've broken it up into 20, 30 sections, which don't need clearance. That's how that project has been cleared. And I think that these are the bhakts who are going to use them. We are already seeing the impact.
Yeah. In Kedarnath also we saw a lot of,
It's been
this thing
happening
happen.
from 2013.
Right.
I have seen the dam where, I wasn't there of course, but I've seen the dam. I think it was just before the Ganga. That river comes down and there was a flood. I don't know how many hundreds of bodies are still lying on the inside of the dam.
So we are overburdening our nature. So we are a developing country. Infrastructure need is valid, but we have to, like you said, let's not try and fit 3 liter in 1 liter. So, let's not overburden our nature and work with the nature, with the environment that we have and work around it, So, and as you said, let's not use jugaad in a negative way. In positive way, it is definitely good. So my next, I would like to ask you is, you have done, one of the initiatives that you would really like to talk about, one achievement that you are really proud of, that you have, would like to tell us, in terms of how you did it, what you did.
I would like to answer that in 2 parts, 1A and 1B. 1A with a very high priority, I think without any doubt, I would say that the turn on I get when I talk to students, some of those questions that they ask, believe me, are extremely tricky. They go by 0 and 1. They are not programmed like me. They ask questions which hit the root. So that is 1A. The biggest achievement I would consider, I've been to maybe close to 100 schools, colleges, all lands, rotaries, all that. So that is 1A.
Okay.
1B, I would say, is my deploying soil biotechnology. Now, you can call it an innovation. Actually, it is regression.
Okay.
If you've been to a village, they don't have sanitation problem. Person goes to the khet outside the village, does his job, ऊपर से धूप लगती है, नीचे से soil chemistry चलती है. It is manure by tomorrow morning. They don't have sanitation problem. Soil chemistry. Now, we revere the Ganga for various reasons. But primarily, the Ganga is respected, revered because of the quality of water. Why is the Ganga water, you can keep a glass for 6 months, nothing happens to it. You take the BMC water, put it in a glass, in 3 days, 4 days, there will be slime on the inside of the glass. Why is that? It took me several years after traipsing up and down the Ganga and the rivers in and around Maharashtra. One day I happened to be sitting in some distant village in UP, and 3-4 of us in the evening with those village elders sharing a bidi, and this guy explained to me what I would call the PhD of waste treatment. Soil biotechnology is the root of all this. He told me in his country bumpkins language, he said, जो पानी बरसात इंद्रलोक से आता है, उसको इंद्रजल बोलते हैं. जो पानी धरती पे चलता है, उसको वरुण जल बोलते हैं. और जो पानी धरती में उतरता है, उसको गंगा जल बोलते हैं. That's PhD. in waste water treatment. I was lucky to associate with another batchmate of mine who has developed this soil biotechnology. He's got patents from the US and India, which are used for treating waste. So that is the innovation part.
Okay, okay, fantastic. You also spoke about that you have been talking to a lot of children, a lot of college students. Do they have eco-anxiety? Because there was a study which said that the young generation has a lot of eco-anxiety. कि आगे क्या होगा नेचर का या एनवायरनमेंट का या प्लैनेट का हमारे लिए. डू यू सी दैट दे हैव इको एंग्जाइटी?
Well, to be honest, I think my perspective on this would be limited to the schools in Mumbai. Although I remember one Amethi, that's where the Swaraj thing took place. No, one day we had gone on that Swaraj Day to a school in Amethi, and all these kids were sitting there, and they were asked, what is the most important component or ingredient without which humans cannot exist? So guys said, air, this, that, water. There was a guy, young guy like me at the back, who said remote. So essentially, the perspective is actually, I would say, mixed. Because what we call environment studies, as it is taught in the schools, is not really of much impact. But there are a lot of attempts being made now to A, change the curriculum, and B, to expose the youngsters to people like us, me, for example. So this is something that again is going to be an iterative process.
Right, right. Again, getting those fundamentals from the beginning, from the young age, so that they can have that awareness, as they are growing up. Lastly, you have accomplished a lot, a lot of initiatives you have taken, Mithi River and other river, which we heard in your introduction. What's for future? What's the next plan that you have in mind? What's your wish list for next coming years?
See, one thing is plans, like they say, is something that works, that sits on paper. But essentially, I have to finish what I have started for the Mithi River. It's been a long, torturous journey. I've been to the High Court. I've been to the Green Tribunal in Pune. I've been to the Green Tribunal headquarters in Delhi. I've come back to the High Court, gone to the Supreme Court. And that river is not a river still. So that's going to be my driving ambition. You can call it a plan. I think it's more an ambition.
Okay.
And I have, certain ideas.
Right. Around water conservation.
No, around how to go about it.
For the Mithi River. Yeah. So your plan for next few years is to bring back Mithi River, to revive the river. Fantastic. One message for all our experts who are here, from sustainability experts, developers, technology guys, designers, architects. What's your message to them?
I may sound biased. As an engineer, I can only hurry up and add that I'm not an engineer. I work for the environment, and I would like to convey to the professionals sitting here that never forget the laws of nature. They were in place much before technology as we know it has come into place. We all know what happened 3-4 days back. The watchman opened the door and let the thief in? Microsoft. You know the chaos that took place. It was not somebody who hacked into the system. It was the security company which had put in some patch
Correct.
that caused the damage.
Correct.
Can you imagine what will happen if some guy, Sundarajan and, Mehta here in India, they sit together, use their brains and hack into that system. So, technology can only be a tool, it can only be an aid. The laws of nature can be broken only at cost.
That's right. So the message from Janak Daftari is that we need to respect nature. It's much stronger than we are. Technology is an enabler, it's a tool, but it cannot overrule the laws of nature. So that's what the message of Janak Daftari is for all of us. Thank you so much for being here with us and giving us those wise words and for that candid conversation. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a huge shout out for this wonderful man. And of course, initiatives play and initiatives actually matter. But when you do things unconditionally, they're all the way more special. A huge round of applause once again for this brilliant, brilliant man.